Hello, and welcome to FTT Chats, where we sit down with some of the great and the good of fintech for a bit of a chat. I'm Liz Lumley, and today I'm not stalking you, Krista. I'm talking to you, KristaKorelin of OPFinancial. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you, Liz, for the opportunity to have this chat.
No worries at all.
Looking forward to the event.
I know. Yes, don't worry. I will put plenty of plugs in for the Nordics event coming up soon. But this chat's all about you. So we're going to ask you our question that we ask everybody on FTT Chats, which is, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Krista, or as we say in Finnish, Krista, because we pronounce our R's very prominently. My name is Krista. I work here at the OPFinancial Group. OPFinancial Group is the largest bank in Finland, largest financial group in Finland, and we do retail banking, institutional banking, and insurances. And my role at the company is I'm heading digital and mobile banking as well as digital sales in these platforms. So basically, we're around 200 people, and we're based in 2 different locations here in Finland. And we work at delivering the best possible banking services for our customers. The group has about 3.6 million customers, which might not sound all that much to the international audience, but the population of Finland is 5.5 million. So our market share is fairly high. Prior to OPFinancial Group, I've been in banking before. I used to work for Nordea, which is a Nordic bank, also with online banking and mobile banking back in the days. And then I've been working in media and IT, always with kind of digitalization, digital services, and digital business. So that kind of background. And born and raised in Helsinki and based here.
It's a beautiful city. I've been there several times. It's a really fun place to be in. So you, as you mentioned before, you'll be speaking on our identity session at FTT Virtual Nordics on October 14th. Register for free now. So I wanted to talk with you a little bit about identity. I mean, a lot of the Nordic countries, Scandinavian countries, are considered to have a rather progressive national identity schemes. There's a lot of, public-private partnerships, and the government's involved in banks. What are some of the unique challenges with this region in regards to identity?
I think in terms of if we look at the kind of strengths that we have and then go to challenges, I would say that probably one of the greatest strengths that we have in the Nordics is that we, in all of the societies, even if the countries do have their differences, obviously, there is a fairly high level of trust within the society, so that usually citizens trust the authorities, and authorities and companies trust people, and in that sense, creating a digital identity with certain key players has been possible. I think what we're still lacking, even if we have fairly comprehensive digital services when it comes to, say, claiming taxes, healthcare services, schools and universities, and police officers, migration, these kind of things. There are still some key elements that are in the works. And I think one of the key ones is digital voting. So even if we have a strong digital identity where banks are very central in providing that, we still don't have digital voting in place. Another thing that we're now facing quite in the sort of past years is that we all love, from a customer experience point of view, we love the fact that biometric identification is becoming more commonplace, whether fingerprint or face scan or voice recognition. And there we see that face recognition and fingerprints work well. However, when it comes to the voice, we have the issue of being a very, very small language area, 5.5 million people speaking Finnish, which means that from a NLP technology point of view, from natural language processing technology point of view, we're not a very lucrative market. so it's if we want to have, say, a voice recognition, which would be one element of the identity, then that really requires national effort, and we cannot trust that there would be a global player helping us out there. So those kind of things come to mind.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I think not really related to that, but there was a study someone shared on Twitter that said that consumers like fingerprint facial, but they're not too keen on voice recognition. And it might be interesting, that sort of bias against languages that don't have a global critical mass of speakers, might be one of the issues. It's an interesting topic. So I wanted to move on a little bit to financial wellness. I mean, another aspect of the Nordics that is well known is there's a very strong social safety net in a lot of the countries. Now, how much has financial wellness been a high priority in the region?
I think that's probably a question that goes way back, or the explanation to that question goes way back. I think in all of the Nordics, it has been already for years, I mean, decades and decades, it has been very deeply ingrained into the national DNA that this idea of welfare state, even before there was a welfare state, this idea of solidarity between people in the society, and that even those who may not be as happy taxpayers as I am might probably recognize the fact that once you have a safety net, that also brings safety to the society as a whole and stability to the society as a whole. So I think it goes way back, and way back. Sometimes you hear this. You sometimes hear this comparison that when it comes to financial decisions, those politicians in Finland or in Sweden who are on the far right from an economical point of view would be sort of moderate center somewhere else, which probably is an exaggeration, but it has a grain of truth in it.
No, I'm American. It's not an exaggeration.
So I think also when it comes to banks, I think we are as strict in our risk assessment processes as any banks, but I think there also is this idea that it is the benefit of all when nobody's completely left on their own devices when it comes to financial health and or well-being. And our bank, we are a cooperative, so we're not a publicly listed company, and we have a very strong local foothold in many areas of Finland. So I guess at our agenda, it sits even higher than in somebody else's. That there is this it's very how would I put it? It's very clearly stated that our mission is to support the financial well-being of the society and people of it as a whole, and not just making as much profit as we can. Even though we like profits.
Yeah, everyone does. Yeah. I mean, kind of staying with that, like taking care of everyone in society. I wanted to move on to the issues of cash. And when people talk about fintech innovation and progression, removing paper cash from everyday transactions seems to be a goal that many countries are moving towards. I mean, Sweden, for example, has very sort of goals in place to remove cash from society. But does that bring up issues in terms of financial inclusion and maybe vulnerable groups removing money in this way from everyday transactions?
It is an issue that at least we are looking into. We have a goal of reducing the amount of cash as well. But there are elements to it that, and certain user groups that have to be taken into consideration. It's clear that we have a generation of the more senior citizens who have grown up in a world where cash is a default way of payments, and especially if they let's say they live in sparsely populated areas, in rural areas where ATM network is, kind of sort of not really there, and they don't want to use credit cards or other means of payments, then obviously we have to take that into consideration. It's not, we can't just stop giving out cash. I think another user group that we clearly see are people who have issues. I mean, who have difficulties in making ends meet. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So basically, obviously, if the financial situation is such that each month you have to really consider, whether you have enough to pay the bills, then obviously there has to be a very flexible way of getting smaller amounts of cash into use for those people. Again, our branch network is still quite comprehensive. We have about 350 branches around the country. But obviously, there are citizens who are customers in other banks with much less coverage, and somehow we have to take care of them. Then there is one user group that might be in difficulties also with the Cashless Society, but we're not too worried about them because they are the money launderers.
Yes.
No, but I mean, on a more serious note, there is this user group who prefers cash for reasons that they would not want to be outed. So yeah.
There's a well-known financial expert over here in the UK, Dave Birch. You probably know him. Who I think he says, the only people that use cash are the money launderers. Oh well, we could talk about this for a while, but I'm gonna close this off with a personal question, because we don't all live by fintech alone. So I wanted to ask you, Krista, what brings you joy?
What a lovely question. It's on a Friday afternoon, so truth to be told, I try to apply these kind of good advices that I've read somewhere, which is that we should bring like small happy moments into each day. These kind of micro moments of whatever it is we need, alone time or a walk in the park. Actually, what brings me joy right now is that I am in this conference room and I'm looking at the window, and we have really long windows. I mean, high windows, like probably 4 or 5 meters high, and I'm seeing the colors of the fall from my window. Should I show you?
Yeah, if you can, if it's possible.
Let
We're
me show
going
you.
mobile here.
Let's see how this works. I'm on my laptop, but this is the view.
Oh, wonderful! Oh, that's beautiful. You've got the sun. It's pouring.
Yeah, so we got the sun.
Pouring with rain in London here. That's beautiful.
Oh, and the windows are massive. So this right now brings me joy. And after this interview, and after the rest of the meetings of the day, then I get to go home with my family, and that's obviously brings me joy.
Oh, that is a perfect end to our chat. Thank you so much, Krista. And we'll be seeing you again on October 14th at FTT Virtual Nordics.
Thank you very much, Liz.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Speak to you soon. Bye.